Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another episode of Inside DB Rated. This is the dual commentary series where we go ahead and spectate random matches on DB's ladder and just check out what people are playing. So this is going to be a match between Jay-Z Montano on Sky Striker versus Snickers Candy Bar on Virtual World. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here. Some of you guys did request to see Sky Striker, so going to show it off in action today. But this is going to be Striker winning the RPS, and they're actually going to opt to start both players on 40 cards. So the opening hand for Striker is going to be Solemn Strike, Multi-Roll, Widow Anchor, Rhoda, and Upstart. So obviously this is a blind first list since they won the die roll and opted to start, and that's evidenced by the strike here in the main deck. Always interesting, in my opinion, to see Upstart in people's main decks because right now a lot of people are playing Joel. Case in point right here. So this card is really susceptible. Obviously it's a good card, but I don't think it's the best format to play it. But regardless, this hand is going to be strong, has Ray Access and a couple of defensive cards. And then the Virtual World hand is going to be E-Telly, Foolish Goods, Nian, Droll, and Desires. So this hand's also good. Droll not going to be amazing against this matchup, but it's going to do enough here, cutting off like Shizuku and stuff. And then the rest of the hand has like just engine cards in general. So going to go to main phase, activating Rhoda. That's going to search for Ray. And then going to activate Droll in the resolution window. Ray going to be normal summon next. That's going to go into Hayate. And then going to activate, multi-roll, and then set 2, and then pass. Yeah, fair enough, because obviously you can't Shizuku under Droll. It was fortunate that they, well not fortunate, but it was good that they used Rhoda first before upstarting, because that would have been bad otherwise. But the top deck for VW is going to be Lulu, which is, one of the best top decks there. The hand was already good, but this is just going to make things even easier. Going to go to main phase, normal summon Nian, and then Lulu target the Nian. And then that's going to be met with Solemn Strike, actually. So going to be thinking there. Going to activate Desires next. That's going to banish 10, and then drawing 2. So draws Lily and Chuche. Definitely good pickups for sure. Let's see what the banishes were. Qinglong, Lulu, Chuche, Droll, Goods, Nibiru, another Qinglong, Lao, double Lao, and Nibiru. So 2 Nibiru, 2 Lalo, and 2 Qinglong. Quite a fair bit of resources, especially the 2 Qinglong. That will matter for sure. That might alter the way that this is played. Lili, that's going to activate to target the Nian. That's going to send the Qinglong and the Chuche. And then going to think for a little bit here. E-Telly going to come down next. That's going to summon out a copy of Lulu. So there's the tuner. Yeah, the reason why the double Qinglong banish matters is that obviously the third one can be sent, but you need to find ways to actually just start recycling resources because you're going to lose the grind very fast if you aren't recurring them. Going to synchro for a copy of Coral Dragon, and then going to activate Qinglong next. That's going to grab a copy of Gigi, and then pitch Foolish Goods, and then activate Gigi. That's going to target the Lili, sending the Kowloon, and then summoning itself. Yeah, just running out of non-monster VWs, because I believe a Chuche was banished too. Yeah, Chuche was banished as well. So there's all 3 Chuches and all 3 Qinglongs already out of the deck. So yeah, they're going to have to be very careful of resources this game. Nian going to come back, especially in this match against Striker. But Coral and Gigi going to be synchroed away into Croc. So Coral and Croc both get to draw. So draws a copy of Gigi and Kowloon. So not great, because this actually just has no targets right now. And Gigi was already used, and the normal summon was expended on the Nian initially. So going to be synchroing into a copy of Vermilion. So that's going to help break the board a bit. Nian going to recycle. I didn't catch that, so let's see. Recycle to Lulu. That's an interesting one. I guess there's 2 Lulus in grave, yeah, because one was opened with and the other was summoned off of E-Telly here. I feel like you just want to return like one of your face-down banished Qinglongs, though. Just because, you have Chuche to recycle it, but you could have done that with the Lulu anyway. And I feel like Lulu, you can just add back off Gigi in the end phase. I don't know, whenever I see 2 Qinglong banished, I get a little nervous for the VW pilots. But Vermilion going to be used, that's going to banish Lulu, and then that's going to target the Anchor, and Anchor going to be chained on the Croc. It's kind of tough because there's not a great time to use Anchor in this matchup, to be perfectly honest. At that point, you might as well just like negated the draw 1. But gonna overlay it into VFD, and then VFD effect, that's gonna call Dark to turn off Ray, and then going to go to battle phase, that's going to attack over Hcabe, and then going to set 2 and then pass. Obviously can't send with Hcabe either under VFD. Lulu gonna be added back via Gigi in the end phase. Yeah, this is what I meant, like recycling the Lulu I think wasn't necessary at that point, because like especially if they were gonna banish this one for Vermilion. But I digress. Gonna go and use multi-roll in the end phase since Anchor was activated, so it's gonna reset the Anchor. And then for turn, the top deck's gonna be Desires. That's a very, very good top deck. Not too many better ones than that. Going to call Dark with VFD, and then gonna chain Widow Anchor. Chooses to let that go instead of committing the Chuche to it, which I think is fine. I mean, Calamities actually does have more of an impact against this matchup because specifically it turns off like Hayate. So that definitely does come up for sure, especially because this graveyard is very, very empty at the moment for Striker. Gonna go to main phase, activate Pot of Desires, that's going to banish 10, and gonna draw Ghost Spell and another Desires. You hate to see this, that is rough. Let's see what the banishes were. Meister, Ash, so a lot of hand traps. We see Bell, Meister, and Ash. Shark Cannon, the third Desires, okay, so it's on 3. Call by the Grave, Skullmeister, Ice Dragon's Prison, some more traps, Area, Widow, and Shark. So 2 Shark Cannons are gone. We know that there's Strike and IDP in the main deck now, and we know there's probably around 9 hand traps at least. So that's a lot of intel on the build. Gonna activate Upstart next. That's gonna, hey, draw Ray, there we go. So there's the play that was needed, because this hand was looking very grim for a second. So this is interesting, because this hand lines up decently against Chuche, since of course Ray can tag out. You can go Hayate and then like float back into Ray. I wonder when Chuche will be used, if it's going to just be saved for multi-roll. Going to normal summon Ray, and then link off into a copy of Hayate, and then go to battle phase, attack for 15. Thinking here in this window, chooses to take the attack. There is an argument for popping the Hayate just because it also denies kind of Kagari follow-up since there's literally nothing to add back right now. And it also, but like at the same time, you know, hitting multi-roll is just really, really necessary at times. Hayate, that is going to send a copy of Afterburner. So trying to clear the board here. Going to go into Kagari, that's going to add back Afterburner. And then here, gonna actually use Chuche now. That's going to target the multi-roll. Yeah, so going after that specifically, which is definitely reasonable. So that pops the roll. Because of course, Burner doesn't target the spell or trap that gets destroyed, so have to kind of do it now if you want to. Or I guess at least in response to the Afterburner, but not really going to make a big difference here. Going to Afterburner away the Calamities, and that's going to get rid of the Chuche in the process. And in main phase 2 still, going to link away into a copy of Shizuku, and then set the other Desires, and end phase activate Shizuku. And that's going to grab Area. So this is not very good for Striker, because VW has a fair amount of follow-up left. It's not actually that much follow-up, but there's now a Virtual World gate left for Kowloon, because Qinglong was returned. Or it could just be sent. So Bell is the only interaction here. For turn, the top deck is going to be Ash, which is not going to be great necessarily for hand trapping. We'll see, though. Well, it could be nice next turn, maybe. Kowloon going to be used. That's going to place Qinglong face up. So, not going to be able to send Qinglong, actually, because the other 2 are still banished. Which, again, is like why I feel, you know, recycling the Qinglong might have been a good idea, but we'll see about this. Activating Gigi, targeting the Qinglong. Going to send Nian. Opts not to Bell the Gigi. And then get a normal summon the Ash. Okay, so it is going to be useful here, because that triggers Nian. And now there's 2 tuners on board. Going to synchro into a Charge Warrior. That's going to trigger to draw 1, as well as the Nian to recycle. What got put back this time? This time it was Chuche. That I think makes sense, because that was all 3 Chuche. And you definitely need ways to put those back, too. It's in a rough spot in terms of like resources, but I still think that VW is pretty favored here, just because Striker doesn't have anything left, really. Gonna draw off of the Charge, and that's gonna pick up Balala, which is really, really good follow-up. It's gonna help play around Bell nicely. Yeah, because they're going for Cloud Castle. I figured they were going for Cloud Castle because they just want to turn off Ray again. But yeah, that's going to be Belled. But now you can just go into another Synchro 9, and that's like really good. I do wonder if they're on Fan. A lot of people cut Fan, but that's really good in this matchup particularly. Not here right now because there's 2 Rays, but like if there's only 1 Ray and you banish the Striker Link and the Ray, like your opponent is just very, very sad. Gonna Lalo effect, target Qinglong. That's gonna send Yan to summon itself and then summon back probably Gigi. Yeah, and then going to Synchro into Shen. Nope, just kidding. Cloud Castle. All right, so 2 Cloud Castle. Something to note. Not entirely unreasonable. We've seen that quite a bit. But that's going to be at the Vermilion. And then Vermilion effect, that's going to hit the Dead Desires. And then going to go for VFD. VFD effect called Dark. And then going to go to Battle Phase. There's 6 spells engraved. This doesn't get shut out by VFD because it stops activated effects. So still going to reduce by 600. Yeah, that's going to be 600 then because it's on 21. And then 3K. You know, if this Lulu was just special summoned by its own effect, that would have been game. But I don't think it's going to matter that much because, again, Striker is very far behind right here. Gonna do the main phase 2, grabbing Chuche and sending Nian, summoning itself, and then setting and gonna pass from there. End phase, GG add back the Lalo. It's still fine for VW. They have so many more cards. And the top deck's going to be Bell. That's absolutely not going to be enough here. Going to activate VFD, going to activate Area, and then normal Bell. And then going to Chuche on the... I thought actually they were going to set Bell. Because that's like a clear target to Chuche. Whereas maybe you would have had a chance to do something. Probably not, but you never know. But that's going to be VW taking game number 1 here. So let's move into game 2. We're going to see Striker go first again. If you guys are enjoying this commentary, definitely be sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new here and want to see more commentary similar to this style. But the opening hand for Sky Striker in game 2 going first is going to be Call by the Grave, Desires, Cosmic, Ice Dragon's Prison, and Meister. No striker cards, literally 0 striker cards. I mean, the hand seems fine, just needs to draw engine pieces. And then Virtual World's hand going second in game 2 is going to be double Chuche, Lightning Storm, Ash, and Qinglong. So his hand also is lacking on the engine piece department because there's just no VW names in terms of monsters. So this is going to be a pretty awkward game. Going to activate Desires in main phase 1. That's going to banish 10. Will we see the Ash? We will. And Call by the Grave going to be used to negate it. Draws Shark Cannon and D-Barrier. So, I mean, technically it's his engine card. But yeah, no raise. Let's see it's banished. D-Barrier, Cosmic, Cyclone, Strike, Desires, Afterburner, Shared Ride, Rose, Ghost Bell, Ash, and Multi-Roll. Alright, so at least only 1 striker name was banished. So still all 3 Ray. Banished and Multi-Roll. And that's about it. Shared Ride's sided, by the way. Also, I don't really like D-Barrier right now. I think it was really hyped at the beginning of the format, but now I think, you know, it doesn't really stop Drytron in the way that people expected it to. And then VW is just so adaptable that it's not really great against them either. But just going to set 2 and then pass, just going for the higher impact cards there. Draws Gigi for turn. That's for sure going to be pretty decent. I don't know how good it is, actually, because your only target is Qinglong for it. It could be alright for later. Actually, no, it's good because you could just send whatever you want to add back in the end phase and then have follow-ups. Yeah, this is fine. Just gonna set 2 and pass back. Not even gonna opt to Lightning Storm. I mean, it still is alive right now, but gonna choose to play the waiting game, interestingly. Hey, picks up a copy of Ray for turn, so that's pretty good. That was the break that was needed. So double Chuche is actually gonna do absolutely nothing here. And even if it was alive, Cosmic was there to just stop it. Gonna normal summon Ray, and then go into Hayate, and then enter battle phase, attack, and then use Hayate. I do like not tagging into Hayate in the battle phase just because Gamma is like scary. Gonna send Widow off the Hayate and then main phase 2, Kugari back. And then going to set another card and then go into Shizuku and the end phase, going to use it to grab Area. That was played kind of interesting because they sent Widow but opted to just not set it. I mean, to be fair, probably the best application is to just use it against like VFD on your own turn. But at that point, maybe you might as well just get Shizuku or get it off Shizuku, right? I don't know. I feel like maybe there's like other ways to do this, but this seems okay. But the Lightning Storm might still be devastating. For turn, the top deck is going to be another Qinglong. That is not amazing for sure. Gonna move to main phase, activate Lightning Storm for back row. Gonna chain Cosmic to hit 1. And then chain Barrier, call Synchro. So no responses. Gonna activate Chuche. And then going to go Gigi. That's gonna send Qinglong to summon itself. And then Qinglong, that's gonna be Meistered for sure. And that is very good. So now VW just doesn't have really any plays. I think you might consider like activating Qinglong and then popping your own Qinglong at some point. That's like for next turn if you're very desperate. But gonna set Qinglong pass. For turn, the top deck's gonna be another area. Not amazing, but now there's all the striker engine. So we started off with no striker cards, and now our whole hand is striker cards. Gonna Widow on the Gigi to take it. And then gonna area and Gigi. Gonna chain the Chuche, targeting the area. Interesting choice. Gonna use area. That's gonna summon out Ray. Is there an avenue to make game here? Let's find out. Looks like we're switching Gigi to tap position, going for Kagari, adding back the Widow Anchor, and then going to attack for a fair amount of damage. So 15, 1000, and 19, it looks like. And then main phase 2, gonna link off into Zeke. Zeke effect on itself, and then going to go into Shizuku. When does this come back? I always forget. Banish it until your opponent's next end phase. Alright, gonna set 2, and then end phase Shizuku, search for another Widow Anchor. Yeah, no multi-roll to search or anything. We see a lot of players like search Hornet Drones, and this player's opting not to do so. Draws the Qinglong that was put back off of the Chuche. Wow. That is very, very bad. This is unplayable. Yeah, I think honestly, hitting the area, I'm not really sure what they were trying to stop with the area, like in terms of, you know, things that were going to be revealed off of it. I'm not entirely sure what the goal there was. Because again, like this is a point where hitting your own Qinglong is not pretty, but it's decent enough. But yeah, that's just unfortunate luck to draw that. So that's going to be the end of game 2. So Striker going to be tying it up 1-1 in this match here. So let's go ahead and now move into game number 3. But before we do, I do want to just quickly thank my patrons. If you guys do want to support me on Patreon, definitely go ahead and find the link to that in the description. But I decided I want to start doing this as just a thank you for all those who do decide to support me. So appreciate it. The content is more consistent and better with your guys' help. But we're going to move now into game number 3. And it looks like Virtual World going to be going first for the first time this match, actually. And their opening hand is going to be Feather Duster, Qinglong, Desires, Talent, and the Lalo. So this hand is going to be aided with Desires for sure. And we have other utility cards for the matchup. And then for Striker, the hand is going to be Widow Anchor, Ash, Bell, Area 0, and Gamma. So 3 hand traps, but no Ray or Rose. And Talent will come in here probably. So we'll see what happens. Gonna activate Paw of Desires. That's going to banish 10. And then be met with Ash Blossom. Let's see what was banished. Chuche, Talent, Lily, Goods, Desires, Nian, Chuche, Kowloon, Lulu, and Goods. So 2 Chuche banished. That definitely is a rough one. Gonna activate Talent next. That's gonna draw 2. Draws Lily and Nian. Those are good ones for sure. Then gonna be thinking here, gonna normal summon Nian and then use Lily to target it. That's gonna send Qinglong and then summon itself. And then Qinglong effect, that's going to search Lulu, pitching the other Qinglong. And then Lulu effect, that's going to be Gammad. This is not bad. Can bell the Lalo too, and then there's not really anything to go into with these. Gonna activate Lalo. That's gonna be belled. And then gonna pass. Psyframes get banished in the end phase. For turn, the top deck's gonna be Widow Anchor. So yeah, all this hand really needed was a Ray to get going. Area, gonna be targeting the set Widow Anchor. The game basically plays itself at this point. Oh, picks up Ray. Alright, that's good. For sure. So that's gonna send away Widow Anchor. It says yikes in chat. Yeah, that is quite a yikes right there. So gonna normal summon Ray, and then go into Hcabe. How many spells? We only have one. Yeah. So I mean, like, there's a world where like, you crash and you tag into Ray, and then you like go into Kagari in the battle phase, but yeah, not enough spells to like clear the whole board with that. But can still use the battle phase to clear the Neon, so that's relevant. Yeah, battle phase is gonna attack into it. I think that's definitely good. Hcabe effect, that's gonna send Burner, and then Ray, that's gonna bring itself back, and then Ray effect to go for Kagari, that's gonna grab back the Burner. I was trying to clear the board here. Gonna pop, and then go into Shizuku, set one, and then go into the end phase. That's gonna grab a Shark Cannon. And then gonna Shark on Yan. Yeah, it's fair enough. Nyan effect, that's gonna bring back, or recycle back, let's see. Recycle back Chuche. Yeah, definitely needed to put back a Chuche for sure. So there's not actually that much interaction on Striker's side of things. So any VW normal summon or like a Kowloon or like a hard drawn Qinglong would be enough to get out of this. And draws a Kowloon. There we go. Especially with the Feather Duster, that is going to pretty much wrap things up, I think. Yeah, gonna activate Feather Duster. That's gonna wipe away the Widow Anchor and the area. Area gonna trigger. That's gonna summon the Ray from deck. Then gonna activate Kowloon. That's going to place Chuchi face up. And then going to be thinking here. Gonna activate Qinglong. That's going to grab a Lulu. And then pitch a Lalo. And then Lulu effect is going to send the Qinglong to grab a copy of Gigi. Summon itself. Let's see. I mean, you have a free window to use Chuche here on Ray, because it can't tag out since the extra monster zone is already occupied. But you still have to deal with like Ray Float. Gigi effect, that's going to target, it looks like it was the Lulu sending Chuche. And going to go and banish to raise one of the levels. Could go for a Vermilion play on itself too to add back Lalo. Yep, gonna go into Vermilion. And then banish Lalo targeting itself. And then going to add back Lalo. I really do like that play a lot. Going to Lalo, send Yan. And then going to bring back its Gigi and summon itself. And then chooses not to trigger Nian there. Going to go into Cloud Castle. Cloud Castle going to bring back the Vermilion. Yeah, Vermilion has a free, again, window to just pop Ray here. Yep, Vermilion effect, destroy Ray. And then go into VFD. Very fun dragon. Going to Call Dark. And then Chuche effect. That's going to hit the Shizuku. Probably doing that more to recycle resources than anything. And then go into battle phase. Gonna attack for 3k, and then end phase GG resolve to grab back Lulu. So this is quite good for VW, and Striker has no cards. I actually just want to make sure that GG was activated this turn, because I don't know why I forgot. But let's see. Yeah, activated Kowloon, placed Chuche, added Lulu, added Gigi, special Gigi. Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure. I don't know why, like, I forgot. But yeah, I gotta take 3,000 as well. And then for turn, the top deck's gonna be Meister. A bit late, definitely not on time. I gotta pass. For turn, the top deck's gonna be Ash, and there's just no world in which VFD just doesn't, or VW doesn't just OTK. Normal Lulu, go into Nian. Going to go into battle phase. It looks like they just went a bit too fast. Meister on the Nian there, but it's not really gonna matter. Going to banish Qinglong to add Lalo, pitch Ash, summon Lalo, dump Qinglong, and then bring the Nian back by the Lalo. And then go into Shen Shen, and that's gonna be the end of the game there. So Striker gonna be dropping that set 2-1. Virtual World winning that one. it was a pretty interesting match for sure, because even though Striker had 3 hand traps in game 3, wasn't enough. Even though they even also found the Ray off the area, it really came down to the fact that VW still had the Lalo in hand from Bell, and then just any VW top deck that was a normal summon. So like it could have been Lulu or Nian Nian or Gigi or the Kowloon that we saw top decked or Qinglong. So there's like a lot of cards honestly that could have been good enough top decks there. So it wasn't actually that unexpected or unreasonable for VW to claw their way back. Just because like Striker, I feel it puts up not sufficient interruptions against VW specifically to actually hinder their end boards or just their pushes. But that's going to be it for that match there. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or your feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more informative and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms or support me via Patreon, TCG Player, all the links in the description as usual. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.